In a world where heroes sell sneakers soaked in third world blood, where rape gets a 3-week media cycle and murder gets a reality show, one man rode in on a motorcycle made of hellfire, and Vought's PR team had no fucking script for it. The gala was pure Vought. Crystal champagne flutes, A-list celebrities pretending Deep's gills weren't disgusting, and a 30-foot ice sculpture of Homelander's face melting under stage lights. It was his 42nd birthday, though Vaught's official docs said 39. The lie was printed on 10,000 VIP invitations. The truth was buried with the Madeline Stillwell files. Homelander stood on the stage in his ridiculous cape, soaking in applause that was 60% contractually obligated and 40% genuine fear. Ashley Barrett hovered nearby, iPad glowing, monitoring live tweet sentiment. Positive 89%, engagement up 34%, stock futures climbing. "Thank you, America," Homelander said, voice dripping with practiced humility that didn't reach his eyes. "You make me want to be better every..." The windows exploded inward, not shattered, not broken. Exploded, as if the glass itself had decided to commit suicide rather than witness what came next. A motorcycle screamed through the opening, wheels trailing fire that wasn't fire, heat that made the ice sculpture flash, boil into steam. The bike's engine roared with a sound like 1,000 damned souls screaming in perfect harmony and riding it. "Jesus Christ," A-Train whispered. Not Christ, the opposite. The skeleton's skull was wreathed in flames that burned without consuming, eye sockets filled with hellfire that saw not flesh but sin. Leather jacket, spiked chains, and an aura of judgment so absolute it made the room's temperature drop even as everything flammable began to smoke. Ghost Rider hit the ballroom floor and the marble cracked in a perfect circle beneath his wheels. Homelander's smile froze. For a microsecond, so brief the cameras barely caught it, his eyes widened. Not anger, not confusion. Fear. Ashley's iPad shattered against the floor. Security! Security! But Vaught's rent-a-cops, men trained to handle drunk celebrities and overeager fans, took one look at the flaming skull and remembered they had families. They ran. The rider dismounted. Each footstep left a smoking print on Vaught's custom Italian marble. He walked with the inevitability of cancer, of debt, of consequences, 30 years deferred coming due all at once. "Who the fuck?" Homelander started. The rider pointed. "John." The voice wasn't a voice. It was gravel grinding in hell's gears, judgment rendered in frequencies that made champagne glasses crack and people's fillings ache. Homelander flinched. Actually flinched. "How do you know that name?" "I know all your names." The rider's head swiveled, surveying the room. "Kevin, Annie, Reggie, Ashley. I know what you've done." A train backed toward the service exit. "Nope, nope, nope, nope." The rider's gaze locked on him. "Run, Kevin Moskowitz, but you cannot outrun your sins." A train blurred and slammed face first into the closed exit door, nose breaking with a wet crack. The door hadn't moved. He couldn't move, not forward. The rider's judgment was gravity, and A-Train's guilt was mass. Maeve, bourbon-drunk and hollow-eyed, laughed. Actually laughed. "Oh, this is perfect." Deep hyperventilated into his champagne glass. Black Noir signed frantically at Ashley, who couldn't read ASL and was currently having a panic attack against the dessert table. Starlight, Annie, stepped forward, golden light crackling around her fists. "I don't know who you are, but you just assaulted..." "Annie January." The rider turned to her. You protect rapists. You smile beside murderers. You know the truth and you swallow it like Compound V because the lie pays better. Her light flickered, died. Her hands dropped. How do you? I am vengeance walking. I am the spirit of vengeance, and I've come to judge the guilty. Homelander's fear curdled into rage. You picked the wrong fucking party, Halloween reject. His eyes flared red. The heat vision lanced out, enough concentrated energy to melt a tank, and struck the rider square in the chest. Nothing. The beams didn't bounce, didn't reflect. They just stopped, absorbed into the hellfire like screams into a void. Homelander's lasers cut off. His face, for the first time since Madeline died, showed genuine confusion. My turn, the rider said. He moved. Not fast, not slow. Inevitable. Homelander threw a punch that could shatter concrete. The rider caught his fist. Homelander's bones creaked. Look at me. Fuck you. Look at me. The rider's grip tightened. Homelander's invincible hand began to smoke. And against every instinct, every atom of his narcissistic will, Homelander's eyes met the rider's. The pennant stare. Homelander screamed. Not the controlled, dramatic scream of a hero in a trailer. The raw animal shriek of a man experiencing every sin he'd ever committed from the victim's perspective. The burned children in Syria. The journalist dropped from 10,000 feet. The woman in the alley who said no. Madeline's skull caving under his grip. Stillwell's son crying in the closet. He collapsed, convulsing, vomit and tears and blood from a bitten tongue mixing on Vought's custom marble. The cameras caught everything. 47 angles, 12 live streams, 6 million viewers watching in real time as America's greatest hero writhed and wept like a tortured child. The rider released him. Homelander curled fetal, sobbing. This world calls you heroes, the rider said, addressing the room. But I see only the guilty, and the guilty burn. He turned toward the remaining members of the Seven. Ashley found her voice. If you love God, if you love America, subscribe to Vought Plus for exclusive behind-the-scenes content and smash that notification bell because we're going live with crisis coverage. Her voice died as the rider's gaze found her. If you love deep dive crossovers that respect both worlds, smash subscribe and comment your dream matchup. Doomslayer in Halo, Wolverine in Mass Effect. We're building the multiverse, one story at a time. Because right now, hell just declared war on corporate America, and Vought's stock futures are burning. The rider's chains rattled, and somewhere in New York, in a shitty apartment above a Korean deli, Billy Butcher watched the live stream and smiled his first genuine smile in 5 years. Now that, he whispered to the screen, is a proper cunt. The live stream didn't cut. Vought's automated systems were designed to capture everything, edit later, control the narrative in post. But there was no post-production for hell. Deep tried to run. His gills flared, hyperventilating, designer suit soaked with panic sweat that smelled like low tide and desperation. He made it 3 steps before the rider's chain whipped out, not thrown, summoned, and wrapped around his ankle. The chain burned through his pants, not fabric, skin. Deep screamed and hit the floor, clawing at marble, leaving fingernail scratches and blood. Kevin, the rider said, dragging him closer without effort. The ocean remembers what you did in Marina del Rey, the woman who couldn't swim. You told her you'd save her if she... I'm sorry, Deep sobbed. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Sorrow is not penance. The rider lifted him by the throat. Deep's gills fluttered uselessly in open air, drowning in oxygen. Their eyes met. The pennant's stare took him. Deep's scream was wet, choking. He experienced it. The woman's terror, lungs filling with salt water, her trust corroding into horror as she realized the hero wouldn't save her unless she earned it. The cold, the pressure, the moment her brain starved, and the rider dropped him. Deep curled up, catatonic, gills fluttering arrhythmically. 2 down. Black Noir moved. Silent. Professional. Decades of wet work made instinct. He threw 3 knives, military grade, explosive tipped at the rider's skull. The blades melted mid-flight, slag droplets hissing on marble. Noir drew his sword. The one Vought's prop department said was decorative, but Noir had personally sharpened on Afghani whetstones using insurgent blood as lubricant. He swung for the neck. The rider caught the blade bare-handed. The steel glowed white-hot, then red, then began to drip. Irving. The rider's voice carried something new, not anger. Pity. You were a victim before you became a monster. Noir froze. Behind the mask, his eyes widened. But victimhood is not absolution. You knew what Soldier Boy did to you, and you did worse to others. Noir shook his head frantically, signing with his free hand. No, not my fault. Vought made me, they made me. They gave you a choice. You chose the money. The pennant's stare. Noir experienced every Black Ops execution, every whistleblower silenced, every child caught in crossfire while he followed orders. But worse, he experienced his own assault, his own helplessness, over and over and over, through the eyes of every person he'd victimized after. The recursive trauma broke him. He collapsed, mask cracking, whimpering like the boy he'd been before Vought turned him into a weapon. Maeve stood, swayed, drunk, but not too drunk to understand what was happening. Me next? She spread her arms. Go ahead. Show me every compromise. Every time I looked away, every kid I didn't save because Vought's focus group said international. Incidents hurt Q ratings. The rider approached. Stopped. You already judge yourself, Margaret. She laughed bitterly. Doesn't count for shit though, does it? Still cashing the checks. Still wearing the tiara. You can change. Can I? She gestured at the cameras, still streaming. Or will I just keep being Vought's token dyke until my liver gives out? The rider said nothing. Judgment rendered by silence. Starlight stepped between them and Homelander's still convulsing form. Her hands shook, but her voice held. You can't just... People have rights. Due process. Courts. Your courts are bought, the rider said. Your laws are written by the guilty to protect the guilty. Homelander has murdered hundreds. Your justice gives him a press conference and a public apology. That doesn't make you right. It makes me necessary. Annie's light flared back to life. No, you're just another monster with an excuse. The rider tilted his skull. Then stop me, Annie January. Strike me down. Defend your rapist colleagues and murderer mentors. She hesitated. Her light flickered. He waited. She couldn't do it. The light died. She turned away, tears cutting through her foundation. I do not judge you, the rider said quietly. You still have time to choose. Homelander stirred, moaned. His eyes opened, red-rimmed, bloodshot, tears still leaking. He looked at the rider with something new in his gaze. Hatred, pure, primal. The hatred of a god who just learned he could feel pain. I'm going to fucking end you, Homelander whispered. I'm going to make you watch while I laser every person you ever loved. I'm going to... The rider crouched, bringing his flaming skull level with Homelander's face. You will try. The room's temperature spiked. Hellfire crawled across the floor in geometric patterns, ancient symbols that predated human language. A train, recovered enough to process fear, grabbed Ashley and blurred toward the fire exit. This time, it opened. They vanished into Vought Tower's labyrinthine corridors. The rider stood, chains retracting with sounds like grinding teeth. This is my judgment. The 7 are weighed, the 7 are measured, and the 7 are found wanting. His voice echoed not just in the ballroom, but across every speaker in Vought Tower, every screen, every device streaming the gala. You wear the symbols of heroes, but I've seen your souls, and your souls are damned. He walked back to his motorcycle. It roared to life without him touching it, hellfire wheels leaving permanent scorch marks. Repent, the rider said, or burn. He rode through the shattered windows, dropped 40 stories, and hit the New York street with an impact that cracked asphalt in a perfect circle. Civilians screamed and scattered. The motorcycle tore down Broadway, weaving through traffic that parted before him like the Red Sea, heading toward the Lincoln Tunnel, trailing fire and brimstone, and the absolute certainty that Vaught's carefully constructed reality had just been immolated on live television. In the ballroom, emergency lights flickered on. Medics rushed in, cameras kept rolling, and Ashley, hyperventilating in a supply closet 17 floors down, pulled out her phone with shaking hands and called the one man who could spin genocide into patriotism. Stan Edgar answered on the first ring. "I'm aware," he said calmly. "Contain the 7. Spin up the crisis team. And Ashley." "Yes, sir. Find out who the fuck that was, and find out how to kill him." The line went dead. Outside, sirens wailed. Helicopters circled. Social media exploded with hashtags. Ghost Riders NYC saw Vought under attack. Homelander crying. By morning, 47 million people had watched Homelander break. And in a shitty apartment above a Korean deli, Billy Butcher was already planning. Billy Butcher found him 3 days later in a Pittsburgh dive bar that smelled like cigarettes, stale beer, and the kind of desperation that comes from 30 years of factory jobs exported to China. The television above the bar played CNN on mute. Talking heads dissecting the 7 Tower incident frame by frame, psychologists explaining mass hallucination, Vaught's lawyers already filing domestic terrorism charges against an unidentified meta-human threat. Johnny Blaze sat in the corner booth, human again, nursing a whiskey that had gone warm an hour ago. He looked like roadkill, leather jacket torn, jeans scorched, face gaunt with the peculiar exhaustion that comes from hosting a biblical entity in your chest cavity. Butcher slid into the opposite seat uninvited, dropping a manila folder on the scarred table between them. "You're either the dumbest cunt in America," Butcher said, his accent thick as London fog, "or the most brilliant. Can't decide which." Johnny didn't look up. "Fuck off." "Can't. You see, you just did something I've been trying to do for 5 years. You made Homelander cry." Butcher grinned, wolfish. "That's worth a conversation." "Not interested in conversations? Then you're dumber than you look." Butcher flipped open the folder. Photographs spilled out. Surveillance shots of Vought Tower, thermal imaging, satellite feeds. "Because right now, Every three-letter agency in the federal government is hunting you. Vought's got $100 million bounty on your flaming skull. And Homelander? He tapped one photo. Homelander on a rooftop, eyes glowing red, scanning the city with the intensity of a god planning genocide. He's not crying anymore. Johnny finally looked up. His eyes were brown, human, but something older moved behind them. He should be. Oh, I agree completely. Problem is, you showed the world America's favorite hero is a sniveling bitch, and Vaught's already spinning it. Psychic attack, Russian meta-weapons, Chinese super tech. By next week, you'll be the villain, and Homelander will be the brave survivor. Butcher leaned forward. Unless we kill the narrative at the source, we, you and me, and a few like-minded individuals who enjoy pharmaceutical violence and harbor significant resentment toward the soup community. Johnny's jaw tightened. I work alone. Yeah, how's that going? Butcher gestured at the TV. A new chyron scrolled, Manhunt intensifies. FBI classifies Ghost Rider as domestic terror threat. You burned Homelander's ego. Congratulations. But you didn't kill him, and now he's hunting you with the full backing of Vaught's legal team, the FBSA, and the American public who've been gargling Homelander's nuts since 2012. I don't kill for hire. Good, because I can't afford you. Butcher pulled out another photo, a family portrait. Woman, 2 kids smiling at a beach. This is Rachel. Was Rachel. Homelander raped my wife, got her pregnant with his fucked up soup spawn, and when she gave birth, the little bastard lasered his way out. Killed her from the inside. His voice didn't waver. Pure ice. That was 8 years ago. Every day since, I've been working toward one thing, putting that cunt in the ground. Johnny stared at the photo. Something in his chest burned. The writer stirred. Guilty, it whispered. All of them. Guilty. I've seen what Homelander's done, Johnny said quietly. The penance stare showed me. Every sin, every victim. Then you know he's got to die. And when he dies, Johnny met Butcher's eyes. You think that fixes it? Vought replaces him with someone worse. They always do. Maybe, but at least he'll be dead. Butcher's grin returned, humorless. Besides, you've already painted the target on your back. Might as well make it count. Johnny drank his whiskey. It tasted like ash and regret, and the 15 years since he'd signed the contract that cursed his soul. What's your plan? Butcher's grin widened. That's the spirit. First, we need to get you off the grid. Vaught's got facial recognition tied into every camera in the city. Traffic cams, ATMs, Ring doorbells. You show your face in Manhattan, and Homelander's there in 30 seconds. I can handle Homelander. Can you handle Homelander, A-Train Maeve, Starlight, and whatever new cunts they recruit to replace the ones you broke? All at once, on live television, while Vaught's PR team spins you as a baby-eating Satanist? Butcher pulled out a burner phone. You're powerful, mate. But power doesn't mean shit when the entire country wants you dead. Johnny's knuckles whitened around his glass. Because Butcher was right, the writer could judge, could burn, could punish the guilty. But Ghost Rider couldn't win a media war. So what do you want from me? Simple. You keep doing what you do. Judging corrupt soups, burning Vaught's infrastructure. But you do it smart. We pick targets that hurt Vought where it counts. Their labs, their blackmail files, their fucking quarterly earnings. Butcher leaned back. You're the nuclear option, I'm the scalpel. Together, we don't just kill Homelander, we kill Vought. And your team? 3 people you'll bloody hate. but they're good at what they do. Johnny considered. The rider coiled in his chest, hungry, eager to judge more guilty souls. But the man, Johnny Blaze, former stunt rider, former almost normal human, remembered what happened when vengeance became the only fuel. "I don't take orders," Johnny said. "Wouldn't dream of it. Partners, equals. You burn, I steer." Butcher extended his hand. "Deal?" Johnny looked at the hand, looked at the photo of Rachel, looked at the TV where Vought's stock ticker showed prices rebounding after the initial dip. He shook. Butcher's grip was firm. "Brilliant. Now there's one small complication." "Of course there is. Homelander's not the only one hunting you." Butcher pulled out a final photo. A woman in a suit, African American, 50s, eyes like a predator in sensible heels. Meet Stan Edgar, Vought's CEO, makes Homelander look like a tantrum-throwing toddler. He's already hired Black River, private military contractors, ex-Delta, equipped with anti-Supe tech. He tossed over a classified document stamped with Vought's logo. "This is their Ghost Rider protocol. Temperature-resistant assault teams, industrial coolant grenades, microwave emitters designed to disrupt your hellfire." Johnny scanned the document. Detailed. Professional. Someone had studied him, analyzed his appearance frame by frame, and designed countermeasures. "They think they can stop me with science. They think they can contain you long enough for Homelander to turn you into red paste on national television. Martyr the hero, demonize the monster. Classic Vought playbook." Butcher finished his beer. "So here's the first job. Black River's got a staging ground in New Jersey. Weapons depot, tactical planning, files on every Supe Vought's got leverage on. We hit it tonight, steal their intel, and burn the rest. We? You, me, and Frenchie. He's good with explosives." Johnny stood. His bones ached. The rider's presence was a constant weight, like carrying a star in your rib cage. "I ride alone." "Yeah, you mentioned. You also rode alone into Vought Tower and accomplished fuck all except giving them their biggest news cycle in a decade." Butcher stood too, shorter but somehow taking up more space. "You want revenge? I got revenge. You want justice? That's adorable, but this is America. Justice died when Vought went public in '76. What we've got is vengeance, and vengeance requires planning." The TV switched to a new segment. Homelander's face filled the screen. Cleaned up, makeup perfect, eyes clear. He was giving an interview. "Deeply traumatized by the psychic assault," Homelander said, voice quavering just right. "But I won't let fear stop me from protecting the American people. This terrorist, this demon, wants to destroy everything we've built. But I promise you, I promise, I will find him, and I will end this threat." The audience applauded. The host reached over and squeezed Homelander's hand supportively. Johnny's eyes flickered orange. Butcher noticed. "Easy, mate. That's what he wants. You go after him now, you're the villain. We play this smart. We make him the villain." "How?" "By exposing what Vought's been hiding for decades. The Compound V trials, the dead kids, the blackmail files, the politicians they own. We don't just kill Homelander. We kill the infrastructure that made him possible." Butcher pulled out the burner phone again. Dialed. "Oi, Frenchie, got our nuclear option. Meet us at the safe house and bring the good explosives. We're hitting Black River tonight." He hung up, looked at Johnny. "So, you in, or you going back to playing lone wolf vigilante until Vought's lawyers sue you into irrelevance?" Johnny Blaze looked at his hands. Human hands, scarred from years of motorcycle, crashes, bar fights, and the time he tried to claw the rider out of his own chest with a broken bottle. He thought about every victim the penance stare had shown him. The children Homelander burned. The women Vought's Supes had assaulted and then paid off. The whistleblowers found dead in apparent suicides. The rider whispered, "Guilty, all guilty, burn them all." But Johnny Blaze, the man who'd been a brother, a lover, a friend before hell came calling, remembered something his mentor had told him before the crash that killed the old man. "Raj without direction is just noise, kid. You want to make a difference? You need a plan." "One job," Johnny said. "We hit Black River. If your plan works, we talk again. If it's bullshit, I go back to doing things my way." Butcher grinned. "Fair. But mate, after tonight, you're gonna realize my way is much more fun." They left through the bar's back exit. The bartender, who'd been carefully not watching the whole conversation, exhaled slowly and pulled out his phone. The call connected. "Yeah, it's me. He's here. Pittsburgh. Moving now with a British guy." Pause. "No, I didn't get close enough for a photo. You see what he did to the 7? I got a mortgage." Another pause. "Fine. Following at a distance, but you're tripling my hazard pay." The bartender hung up, grabbed his coat, and headed out. Above the bar, the TV switched to a new story. Ghost rider, sightings reported in tri-state area, authorities urge caution. And in Vought Tower's executive suite, Stan Edgar watched the same broadcast with the expression of a man analyzing quarterly projections. "Ashley," he said calmly into his intercom, "activate the Soup Hunter Initiative, authorization code Delta 7 Tango, and get me the president. Tell him we need executive authority for enhanced interrogation protocols." "Sir, Ghost Rider is American. Ashley. I'll make the call." Edgar ended the transmission and steepled his fingers, watching footage of the 7 Tower incident for the 47th time. He smiled. Because Stan Edgar hadn't built Vought into a $100 billion empire by panicking. He'd built it by turning every crisis into profit. And Ghost Rider was about to make Vought very profitable. The safe house was a condemned meatpacking plant in Newark that smelled like rust, old blood, and the particular despair of American manufacturing shipped overseas. Frenchie had set up shop in the manager's office. Computers jury-rigged to stolen Vought servers, walls covered in surveillance photos, and enough military-grade explosives to level a city block. "Mon ami!" Frenchie embraced Butcher, then stopped dead when he saw Johnny. His eyes went wide. "Putain, you brought the demon." "Ghost Rider," Butcher corrected. "And he's on our side. Probably." Johnny scanned the operation. "Professional, paranoid. Smart. You've been tracking Vought for a while." 5 years, 3 months, 12 days. A woman's voice. Johnny turned. She stood in the doorway. Asian, early 30s, tech vest, covered in pockets, eyes sharp enough to cut glass. Annie Kim, former NSA, current fugitive. "I've been monitoring Vaught's communications since they disappeared my sister after she witnessed A-Train kill someone." Disappeared? Vought calls it relocation assistance. I call it kidnapping and indefinite detention in black sites. Annie pulled up a holographic display from a modified tablet. Dozens of faces appeared. Men, women, children. 372 witnesses to Soup crimes, all vanished. Vaught's got a whole department dedicated to cleaning up messes. Johnny's chest burned. The riders stirred, hungry. "Guilty. Document everything. judge them all. Can you prove it? Johnny asked. Not in court. Vought owns the judges. Annie swiped through files. But I can prove it to the world if we can get access to their central servers. Which is why we're hitting Black River tonight, Butcher interrupted. They've got direct access to Vaught's cloud infrastructure. Military-grade encryption, but our girl Annie here can crack it. In theory, Annie muttered. In practice, Butcher corrected. Because you're brilliant and I believe in you. You're a manipulative asshole. Also true. Frenchie spread a blueprint across the desk. Black River's New Jersey facility. 3 buildings. Main armory here. Barracks here. Server farm here. 24 guards. Rotating shifts, all ex-military. They have thermal sensors, motion detectors, and... He tapped a section. A panic button that alerts Vought Tower directly. So we've got maybe 10 minutes before the 7 show up, Butcher said. If Homelander comes, Johnny said quietly, people die. He doesn't do restraint. Which is why we're not engaging him. We're ghosts, in and out before he arrives. Butcher looked at Johnny. Can you control the fire? Not burn everything on contact? Johnny flexed his hands. The rider judges the guilty, if your targets are innocent. Mate, Black River personnel volunteer to cover up Supe atrocities for a paycheck. They're mercenaries who hunt victims of Supe violence and disappear them. If that's not guilty, nothing is. The rider agreed. Johnny could feel it, coiling tighter, eager. I can control it, Johnny said. Mostly. Mostly? The rider has opinions. Butcher stared at him. You're telling me the flaming skull demon is argumentative? You have no idea. Annie pulled up satellite imagery. Security changes shifts at 0200. That's our window. Frenchie plants charges on the armory. I hack the servers. Butcher provides overwatch. Ghost Rider. She paused. What exactly do you do? I'm the distraction, Johnny said. You're going to announce yourself. They're already looking for me. Might as well give them something to find. Johnny's eyes flickered orange. And while they're focused on the demon at the front gate, you 3 work. Butcher grinned. I fucking love this plan. 4 hours later, Johnny Blaze stood in the parking lot of Black River's New Jersey facility, hands in his jacket pockets, waiting. Security lights blazed. Cameras tracked his approach. Somewhere, alarms were screaming. He'd walked in the front gate. Just walked, didn't hide, didn't sneak. The rider wanted them to see. 30 seconds later, the first response team appeared. 6 men in tactical gear, rifles loaded with specialized ammunition. The team leader spoke into his radio. Tango 1 has visual on the target, engaging. They opened fire. The bullets were designed to disrupt supernatural entities. Blessed silver tips, each round engraved with warding symbols from a dozen religious traditions. Expensive, researched, professional. They hit Johnny's chest and stopped. Not ricocheted, stopped. Hung in the air for a microsecond, glowing red hot, then dropped to the pavement as slag. Your faith is bought, Johnny said, and his voice carried the rider's resonance. Your blessings are purchased, and purchased holiness has no power over judgment. He transformed. Flesh burned away. Skull ignited. Leather jacket became something older. Chains manifesting from nowhere and everywhere. Hellfire crawling up his spine and wrapping around his bones. Ghost Rider looked at the team. One man dropped his rifle and ran. Smart. The others opened fire. Full automatic, every round blessed and warded. Ghost Rider walked through the hail of bullets like rain. Each step left burning footprints. The air shimmered with heat that had nothing to do with temperature and everything to do with damnation. "Alpha 1 to command," the team leader screamed into his radio. "Countermeasures ineffective, requesting—" Ghost Rider grabbed him by the throat, lifting him off the ground. "You hunt the innocent, you imprison the victims, you take money to bury truth." The rider's grip tightened. Not enough to kill, enough to hurt. "Look at me." "No, please, I have kids." "So did the people you disappeared." The penance stare. The mercenary experienced every face he'd helped vanish, every witness he'd intimidated, every family he'd threatened. The woman in Portland who saw Translucent murder her husband. The mercenary had put a gun to her daughter's head until she signed the NDA. The man in Detroit who filmed A-Train's hit and run. The mercenary had personally delivered him to Vought's black site, where he'd been held for 3 years without trial. The mercenary went limp, whimpering. Ghost Rider dropped him and turned to the facility. Inside, Annie's fingers flew across her keyboard. "I'm in." Their firewall was shit. All their budget went to guns, none to actual cybersecurity. "How long?" Butcher whispered. They were in the server room, Frenchie already planting charges on the support columns. 3 minutes to download. "Maybe 4. "We don't have 4. Ghost Rider just lit up their front yard like bloody Christmas. As if summoning him, alarms shrieked. Red lights bathed the corridors. "Charges set," Frenchie confirmed. "We have remote detonation. Once we clear the building—" The wall exploded inward, not blown, not breached. Shredded, concrete and rebar torn apart like tissue paper. Homelander floated through the hole, cape billowing, eyes glowing red, smile fixed and terrible. "There you are," he said. His voice was wrong. Too controlled, every word articulated with the precision of someone who'd practiced this speech in the mirror 40 times. Butcher and friends, breaking and entering, terrorism, conspiracy. His smile widened. "I've been authorized to use lethal force." Butcher slowly raised his hands. "Now, Homelander, let's be reasonable." Reasonable. The word came out as a shriek. Homelander's control shattered. "That thing humiliated me on live television, made me feel things, and you're working with it." "We're actually just tourists," Butcher tried. "Wrong building, easy mistake." Homelander's heat vision lanced out. Butcher dove left. The beam cut through the wall behind him, melting servers into slag. Annie scrambled, grabbing her tablet. Frenchie threw a flashbang, useless against invulnerable eyes, but it gave them a second to scatter. Homelander laughed. Actually laughed. The sound of a child torturing insects. "You can't hide. You can't run. You're human." He floated closer, savoring their fear. "And I'm going to make this slow." Outside, Ghost Rider heard the screams. He moved. Not running. Riding. His motorcycle materialized beneath him, roaring to life, hellfire wheels tearing across pavement. He hit the building's wall at full speed. The wall exploded. Ghost Rider burst into the server room, trailing fire and fury. Bike airborne, clearing 20 feet before landing between Homelander and Butcher. Homelander spun. His eyes widened. "You," he whispered, then louder, voice cracking. "You." "John," Ghost Rider said, "we have unfinished business." "I'm going to end you," Homelander screamed, and his heat vision erupted, both eyes, full power, enough concentrated energy to melt through a battleship. Ghost Rider raised one hand. The heat vision stopped. Not blocked, not deflected. Stopped, absorbed into hellfire, transmuted from energy to judgment, feeding the rider's flames. Homelander's beams cut off, his face twisted in confusion and rage. "That's not possible. Nothing is impossible when you are damned," Ghost Rider said. "And you, John, are so damned," Homelander charged, supersonic, faster than bullets. His fist swung with enough force to shatter concrete. Ghost Rider caught it. Homelander's bones creaked. For the second time in his life, he felt pain. "No, no, no, no." Ghost Rider's chains wrapped around Homelander's torso, arms, throat. Each link burned with hellfire that ignored invulnerability because it wasn't attacking flesh. It was attacking sin. "You will face judgment," Ghost Rider said. "Get off me!" Homelander thrashed, heat vision firing wildly, cutting through walls and ceiling. The building groaned. "Shit," Butcher muttered. "He's going to bring the whole place down." "Got the files." Annie yanked a hard drive free. "Move!" They ran. Frenchie triggered the charges remotely, explosions blossoming behind them as support columns disintegrated. In the server room, Ghost Rider held Homelander, chains tightening. "Look at me." "No." Homelander squeezed his eyes shut like a child hiding from nightmares. "Not again, not again, not again." "Coward," Ghost Rider hissed. "You call yourself a god, but you fear truth." The building collapsed. 500 tons of concrete and steel crashing down, burying them both in rubble and flame. Butcher, Annie, and Frenchie cleared the perimeter, diving behind a van as the facility imploded. Dust and smoke billowed outward. "Did we just kill Homelander?" Annie asked, coughing. "Not bloody likely," Butcher said. He was right. The rubble exploded upward. Homelander shot into the sky, chains still wrapped around him, dragging Ghost Rider with him. They rose 50 feet, 100, 200. Homelander screaming, Ghost Rider silent as death itself. At 500 feet, Homelander reversed, diving, slamming Ghost Rider into the pavement with enough force to crater the parking lot. Normal bones would have shattered. Normal flesh would have been pulped. Ghost Rider stood up. "Is that all?" Homelander's scream was primal. He grabbed Ghost Rider and flew. Not up, but forward, supersonic, dragging the rider through buildings, through traffic, through a fucking bus that exploded in their wake. They crashed into the Hudson River with a blast of steam and boiling water. Beneath the surface, Ghost Rider's flames burned impossibly, hellfire that existed independent of oxygen or physics. Homelander tried to drown him, held him down 300 feet deep, superhuman strength pressing the rider into the riverbed. Ghost Rider grabbed Homelander's face. Even underwater, even in darkness, the pennant stare found its mark. Homelander's scream created a shockwave that cracked windows on both shores. He released Ghost Rider and rocketed upward, breaking the surface, flying erratically, tears and river water mixing on his face. Ghost Rider emerged walking on the water's surface, each step creating ripples of flame. On the shore, news helicopters circled. Cameras captured everything. And in Vought Tower, Stan Edgar watched the live stream with satisfaction. "Get me marketing," he said calmly. "We're going to need a new narrative by morning." The footage went viral in 17 minutes. Ghost Rider walking on water, hellfire reflecting off the Hudson, Homelander fleeing, like a terrified animal. By dawn, it had 300 million views across every platform. Reddit exploded. Twitter crashed twice. TikTok teens made edits set to heavy metal. Demon's God trending worldwide. Vought Tower's Crisis Management Center looked like a war room. 30 screens showing feeds from every news network, social media sentiment analysis updating in real time, and Ashley Barrett having her third panic attack of the morning into a paper bag, while interns scrambled with printed damage control talking points. Stan Edgar stood at the center, perfectly calm, drinking Ethiopian coffee from a mug that cost more than most people's cars. "Options," he said simply. "We could," Ashley gasped into the bag. "Say it was CGI, deepfake, Russian disinformation." "Ashley, we have 47 camera angles from civilian phones, 3 news helicopters, and satellite imagery from NOAA. The only disinformation is pretending this didn't happen." Edgar set down his coffee. "Next option." The marketing director, a man named Craig who'd sold cigarettes to teenagers for 15 years before Vought hired him, stepped forward. "We lean into it. Religious angle. Ghost Rider is, stay with me, a demon. Sent to test Homelander's faith. Homelander is facing temptation, biblical trials, etc. We position him as Christ-like, suffering for humanity's sins." Edgar stared at him. "Craig, Homelander was crying like a child with a skinned knee, on camera, at 47 different angles." "Right, but if we frame the tears as righteous anguish, you're fired. Security will escort you out." Craig's face went white. 2 guards appeared and dragged him toward the elevator, still protesting. Edgar turned to the room. "Anyone else want to pitch me fairy tales?" Silence. "Good. Here's what we're doing. We acknowledge Ghost Rider as a legitimate threat. Supernatural, powerful, dangerous. We position the 7 not as gods, but as protectors. Homelander isn't running away. He's strategically retreating to protect civilians from collateral damage. We're transparent about the danger. We're honest about the struggle." Edgar smiled thinly. "Because when people see their heroes bleed, they root harder. Homelander crying isn't weakness. It's humanity. We make him relatable." Ashley lowered the paper bag. "That's actually brilliant." "I know. Now get Homelander camera ready. We're doing a live interview in 3 hours, and someone find A-Train. We need the 7 presenting a unified front. A-Train's in physical therapy, the thing Ghost Rider did to his leg. Give him painkillers and a smile. I need warm bodies in capes." On the operations floor below, the 7's remaining functional members gathered in the strategy room. Maeve looked like she'd been drinking since Tuesday, because she had been. Starlight's eyes were red from crying, or rage, or both. Black Noir sat motionless in the corner, mask still cracked from where the penance stare had broken him. Deep hyperventilated quietly, gills fluttering. A-Train limped in on crutches, leg in a brace, face gray with pain. Homelander stood at the window, staring at the city with the intensity of a man plotting genocide. "So," Maeve said, breaking the silence, "we got our asses kicked by a Halloween decoration." "Shut up," Homelander said quietly. "What was that? Couldn't hear you over the sound of you crying on camera." Homelander spun, eyes flaring red. "I said, shut up!" Maeve didn't flinch. "Or what? You'll laser me? Go ahead. Add it to a highlight reel. I'm sure Edgar will love explaining why America's favorite hero murdered his own teammate." Homelander's hands clenched, unclenched. He turned back to the window. Starlight stood. "We need a plan. Ghost Rider took down 4 of us in minutes. Homelander fought him twice and..." She paused, choosing words carefully. "Didn't win." "I didn't lose," Homelander snapped. "You ran away on live television." "I was protecting civilians from..." "Bullshit." Maeve drained her flask. You were scared. We all were. That thing, she gestured vaguely. It's not a soup. It's something else. It's a demon, Deep whispered. An actual demon from hell. I felt it when it looked at me. My soul felt it. Your soul is a timeshare in Tijuana, A-Train muttered. But yeah, whatever it is, it's not playing by our rules. Black Noir signed frantically. Starlight, who'd learned ASL after the Stormfront incident, translated. He's saying, the penance stare showed him things, made him experience everything he'd done from the victim's perspective. Her voice dropped. He says he felt himself dying, over and over, every person he'd killed. The room went quiet. So how do we fight something like that? Deep asked. We don't. Everyone turned to the doorway. Stan Edgar entered, suit impeccable, expression unreadable. You don't fight Ghost Rider. You contain him. We tried, Homelander said through gritted teeth. Black River had anti-supernatural weapons. He walked through them like they were nothing. Because Black River was thinking small, military solutions to metaphysical problems. Edgar activated the wall screen. A schematic appeared, complex, dense with technical annotations. This is Project Sanctuary, Vought's contingency plan for reality warping threats. It's a containment field that operates on quantum probability manipulation. Essentially, it creates a pocket dimension where conventional physics don't apply. In English, Maeve said, a cage that exists outside space and time. Once inside, Ghost Rider's powers become irrelevant because there's no reality for him to affect. Starlight frowned. That sounds like science fiction. It's science, fact all. Funded by DARPA in the 90s, weaponized by Vought in 2003. We've used it twice before. Once on a precognitive meta in Mumbai, once on a reality bender in Sao Paulo. Both times, successful containment. And what happened to them? Starlight pressed. Edgar's expression didn't change. They're still contained. You mean they're still imprisoned? Indefinitely, without trial. I mean they're too dangerous to exist in normal society. And yes, Miss January, sometimes the needs of the many outweigh the civil liberties of the apocalyptically powerful few. Edgar switched slides. Project Sanctuary requires 3 components. First, a stable power source. We'll use the arc reactor from our Pittsburgh facility. Second, a targeting matrix. Ashley's team is building a profile based on footage from every Ghost Rider appearance. Third, he paused, bait. Homelander's head snapped up. Bait? Ghost Rider is drawn to sin, to corruption, to guilt. Edgar looked directly at Homelander. You're the perfect lure. Absolutely fucking not. You'll do it because I'm ordering you to. You'll do it because your contract stipulates I don't give a fuck about my contract. Homelander's voice cracked. That thing made me feel every person I've killed, every scream, every... He stopped, jaw clenching. I'm not going near it again. Then you're useless to Vought. Edgar's voice was ice. And useless assets get liquidated. The room froze. Everyone knew Edgar didn't bluff. Homelander's eyes glowed red. You're threatening me. I'm informing you of reality. You have 2 options. Be the hero who captures the demon, or be the coward who ran away. Choose quickly. The press conference starts in 2 hours. They stared at each other. God versus accountant. Power versus leverage. Homelander looked away first. Fine, they whispered. But I want A-Train, Maeve, and Starlight with me. Full tactical support. Done. Edgar turned to the others. You have 48 hours to prepare. Sanctuary will be operational in Newark, the remains of the Black River facility. We'll leak Ghost Rider's location, make him think it's another target. When he arrives, we spring the trap. And if it doesn't work, Maeve asked, then I suggest you make peace with whatever god you believe in. Edgar headed for the door, paused. Oh, and Homelander? Try not to cry this time. Bad optics. He left. Homelander's heat vision carved a line across the wall, melting through drywall and steel. Nobody said anything. 300 miles away, in the Newark safe house, Johnny Blaze sat on a cot, human again, staring at his hands. They shook. The rider's presence was heavier now, hungrier, pushing against his consciousness like a caged animal. More, it whispered. Judge more, burn more. They're all guilty. I know, Johnny said aloud. Butcher entered with 2 beers, tossed one to Johnny. You all right, mate? No. Johnny opened the beer, didn't drink. The rider wants blood. It's getting harder to control. Good. We need that anger. You don't understand. The rider doesn't discriminate. Guilty is guilty. That mercenary at Black River, he had a family, kids. The penance stare showed him his sins, and now he's catatonic in a hospital somewhere, brain probably fried. Johnny's hands clenched around the bottle. I did that. He chose to work for Vought. Actions have consequences. Yeah, but where's the line? The receptionist at Vought Tower. Is she guilty for filing paperwork? The janitor who cleans blood off Homelander's floor. At what point does complicity become damnation? Butcher sat down heavily. Mate, I've spent 5 years asking that same question. Here's what I've learned. The line doesn't matter. Because Vought erased the line years ago, they made everyone complicit. Every American who watches the Sevens movies, buys their merch, votes for politicians, Vought owns. We're all covered in blood. The only difference is some of us are trying to stop the bleeding by adding more blood, by cutting out the cancer before it kills the patient. Butcher drank his beer. You think I don't know what I've become? I've done things that make Homelander look like a fucking Boy Scout. But I do them because someone has to, because the alternative is letting Vought win. Johnny finally drank. The beer tasted like ash. Everything tasted like ash now. Annie got the files. Butcher continued. Black River's servers had everything. Witness testimony, financials, video evidence of Supes committing atrocities and Vought covering it up. It's a smoking gun the size of New Jersey. So release it. Can't. Not yet. Edgar owns too many judges, too many journalists. We release it now. It gets buried under fake news headlines and drowned in legal motions. We need leverage first. We need to hurt Vought where it counts. Where's that? Their stock price. Butcher grinned. Vaught's a publicly traded company. Every scandal costs them billions. The 7 Tower incident? Stock dropped 12%. The Hudson River fight? Another 8%. A few more public embarrassments and shareholders start demanding Edgar's head. So we're playing capitalism? We're playing war. And in America, war is capitalism. Butcher stood. Get some rest. Tomorrow we hit their Compound 5 production facility in Pittsburgh. Frenchie's already scouting the location. He left. Johnny sat alone in the dark, listening to the rider's whispers. The 7 are coming. They hunt you. Let me burn them all. Not yet, Johnny whispered back. When? When I'm sure it's justice, not just vengeance. There is some difference. Maybe the rider was right. Maybe justice and vengeance were the same thing, just different PR. Johnny lay back on the cot, closed his eyes, and dreamed of fire. In Vought Tower, Ashley finished the press briefing notes and sent them to Homelander's teleprompter. The narrative was perfect, heroic, sympathetic, redemptive. On the 40th floor, Deep practiced his lines in front of a mirror, trying not to think about the penance stare, about the woman who drowned. On the 35th floor, Black Noir sat motionless, mask off, face scarred and hollow, remembering every person he'd killed and wondering if damnation was retroactive. On the 21st floor, Maeve poured her 5th drink and considered whether jumping out the window would actually kill her or just hurt. On the 15th floor, A-Train injected painkillers directly into his broken leg and thought about running. Really running. Away from Vought, away from the Seven, away from everything. On the executive floor, Stan Edgar reviewed Sanctuary's activation protocols and calculated probabilities. 83% chance of successful containment, 12% chance of catastrophic failure, 5% margin of error, acceptable odds. And in the penthouse suite, Homelander stood in front of his mirror, practicing his smile, the one that sold movies and action figures and the lie that heroes existed. But his hands shook, because for the first time in his life, Homelander had met something he couldn't laser, couldn't punch, couldn't threaten. Something that saw through the costume and the powers and the persona to the truth. And the truth terrified him more than anything in his 42 years of existence. He practiced the smile again. It looked like a corpse grinning. Outside, New York glittered with lights and lies and the promise of violence to come. The hunt had begun. The Vought press conference was staged in Times Square because subtlety had never been Edgar's style and public spectacle sold better than truth. 3,000 people corralled behind barriers, news crews from every network, and enough security to invade a small country. The Seven stood on a raised platform, freshly costumed, strategically positioned so cameras caught their heroic angles. Homelander at center, smile fixed like rigor mortis. Starlight to his right, glowing faintly. Edgar's focus group said her light made her seem hopeful and trustworthy. A-Train on crutches, playing wounded warrior. Maeve in the back, sunglasses hiding her dead eyes. Deep looking anywhere but the cameras. Black Noir motionless as a statue. New mask covering the cracks. Ashley stood off stage with cue cards, mouthing words, sweating through her blouse despite the October chill. "Ladies and gentlemen," Homelander began, voice projected through speakers that cost more than most houses. "I won't lie to you. What you've seen on the news, what you've witnessed, is real. Ghost Rider is real, and he's dangerous." The crowd murmured. Phones raised, recording everything. "But I want you to know something." Homelander's voice cracked, perfectly timed, rehearsed 40 times that morning. "When I faced him, I was scared. Not for myself, for you, for every innocent person who could be hurt by his rampage. Lies, beautiful lies wrapped in a hero's costume. The tears you saw weren't weakness, they were humanity. Because I care. We all care." He gestured to the Seven. "And we will not rest until this threat is neutralized and you, the American people, are safe." Applause. Genuine. People wanted to believe their heroes bled for them. Starlight felt sick. The press questions came rapid fire. Homelander deflected them with practiced ease, never admitting weakness, always pivoting to protecting civilians, using words like courage and sacrifice, While carefully avoiding, I got my ass kicked by a skeleton on a motorcycle. Then a reporter from the Times raised her hand. Question for Starlight. Annie's stomach dropped. This wasn't in the script. Miss January, you were present at the Seven Tower incident. You witnessed Ghost Rider's abilities. Do you believe he's truly evil? Or is he responding to legitimate grievances about Supe accountability? The silence was deafening. Ashley frantically waved her cue card. Deflect to Homelander. But Annie looked at the reporter. Mid-40s, tired eyes, press badge that said Metro section, not entertainment, and realized this woman had probably covered real news once, before Vought money turned journalism into PR. Annie started. What Miss January means, Homelander interjected. I can answer for myself. The words came out sharper than intended. Homelander's jaw tightened. Annie continued. Ghost Rider is violent, dangerous, but he's also holding us accountable, and maybe... She paused, choosing words carefully, knowing this would cost her. Maybe we needed that. The crowd erupted. Reporters shouted questions. Ashley looked like she was having a stroke. Homelander grabbed Annie's wrist, grip crushing. His smile never faltered, but his whisper was venom. Shut up. You're hurting me. I'll do worse if you don't smile and read the fucking script. Annie yanked free, light flaring around her hand. For a moment, broadcast on 40 cameras to 5 continents, it looked like Starlight might punch Homelander. Then Maeve stepped between them. We're done here. The 7 retreated off stage while reporters screamed questions and the crowd went feral trying to capture more footage. In the green room, a converted Vought store basement reeking of new carpet and desperation, Homelander slammed Annie against the wall. What the fuck was that? The truth? Annie gasped, feet dangling. Something you've never tried. The truth? The truth? Homelander's eyes glowed. The truth is, I'm the only thing standing between this country and chaos. The truth is, without me, people like Ghost Rider burns the world. The truth is you're a rapist and a murderer, and that thing showed everyone what you really are. Annie's light exploded outward, blasting Homelander back 5 feet. He crashed into the makeup table, mirrors shattering. Everyone froze. Homelander stood slowly, shards of glass falling from his costume. His expression, for just a moment, was pure, distilled rage, the kind that preceded massacres. Then Ashley burst in, tablet glowing. We have a problem. Multiple problems, Homelander snarled. Bigger problem. Ghost Rider was just spotted in Pittsburgh at our Compound 5 production facility. The rage crystallized into focus. When? 17 minutes ago. He's already inside the building. Security cameras show... She pulled up footage. Ghost Rider walking through a concrete wall like it was paper, trailing hellfire, heading straight for the production labs. That facility produces 60% of our Compound V supply, Maeve said quietly. If he destroys it, stock price drops another 15%, Homelander finished. Edgar will crucify us. Edgar's already en route, Ashley said. He wants the 7 there. Now, Sanctuary is almost operational. We just need to stall Ghost Rider until... I'm not going, Annie said. Everyone turned to her. Excuse me. Homelander's voice was dangerously soft. I said I'm not going. You want to trap him, torture him, lock him away forever. Fine, but I won't be part of it. You don't have a choice. Your contract, my contract says I fight criminals. Ghost Rider's not a criminal. He's a terrorist, Homelander interrupted. A murderer. A demon. He's the only one holding you accountable. The words hung in the air like guillotine blades. Homelander moved, supersonic, hand around Annie's throat, lifting her, slamming her into the ceiling with enough force to crack concrete. She gasped, light flickering weakly. "You self-righteous cunt," Homelander whispered. "You think you're better than me? You think your little light show makes you pure? I've seen your file. Iowa pageant girl who fucked her way to Vought's attention." Annie's light exploded. Homelander screamed, dropping her, clutching his face. The light had actually hurt him. Not physically, but something deeper. She landed hard, gasping, glowing like a star. "Touch me again," she said, voice steady despite the fear, "and I go public with everything, every assault, every cover-up, every lie. I'll burn Vought to the ground. You'll die a traitor. Better than living as your accomplice." Maeve laughed, bitter, sharp. Jesus Christ, kid's got balls. Homelander's heat vision carved a line across the wall, inches from Annie's head. "Get out of my sight." Annie grabbed her coat and left. Her hands shook, but she didn't run, didn't look back. In the hallway, her phone buzzed. "Unknown number." She answered. "Hello?" "Starlight." The voice was rough, male, American. "This is Johnny Blaze. We need to talk." Annie's breath caught. "How did you get this number?" "I've got friends who are good at finding things. Listen, Vaught's setting a trap. Pittsburgh, Project Sanctuary. They're using me as bait to lure in the rider." "I know. I was just... How do you know?" "Because I'm standing in their Pittsburgh facility right now, looking at the blueprints they helpfully left on a computer." A pause. "Also because I can feel it. The rider can sense when people are plotting against it. Comes with the whole spirit of vengeance package." Annie ducked into a stairwell, lowering her voice. "Why are you calling me?" "Because the penance stare showed me everyone's sins. And you're..." Johnny's voice softened. "You're trying. You're compromised, corrupted by proximity, but you're trying. That's more than the others can say." "What do you want?" "I want you to understand what's about to happen. Vought wants to trap the rider in some kind of dimensional prison. Probably forever. No trial, no due process. Just erased. You're a vigilante. You've killed people. The rider judges the guilty. Every person it's touched was guilty. Can you say the same about Vaught's justice?" Annie leaned against the cold concrete, head spinning. "What you did to Homelander, making him experience his victims, that's torture. It's consequence. For the first time in his life, Homelander faced actual consequences, and he couldn't handle it." A pause. "You felt it too, didn't you? When you met the rider's eyes, you felt what you've done." She had. At Seven Tower, when Ghost Rider looked at her, Annie had felt every compromise. Every time she'd smiled beside Homelander, knowing what he was. Every press conference lying to America. Every victim she could have helped, but didn't, because Vaught's PR team said it would hurt her brand. She'd felt her own complicity like acid in her veins. "I'm trying to be better," Annie whispered. "I know, but trying isn't enough. Not anymore." Johnny's voice hardened. "Vought needs to burn, not the people, the system, the infrastructure that makes monsters like Homelander possible. And if you're serious about being better, you'll help me." "Help you how?" "Get me the sanctuary codes. Ashley's tablet has them. She's paranoid about security, so she keeps everything local. Get me those codes, and I'll shut down their trap before they spring it. That's treason." That's justice. A beat. Your choice, Annie. Keep playing their game or help me end it. The line went dead. Annie stood in the stairwell, phone trembling in her hand, mind racing. Every instinct said no, said this was insane, said Ghost Rider was dangerous and uncontrollable and exactly the kind of threat the Seven existed to stop. But another voice, quieter but growing louder, asked a different question. What if he's right? 3 hours later, Annie sat in Vaught's commissary, picking at a salad she couldn't taste, when Ashley rushed past, talking frantically on her phone, tablet clutched like a life raft. Annie stood, fell into step beside her. Ashley, hey. Not now, Starlight. Crisis mode. Edgar wants updates every 10 minutes and my Xanax prescription ran out yesterday. I just wanted to apologize. For the press conference, I shouldn't have gone off script. Ashley stopped, blinking in surprise. You're apologizing? I made your job harder. That wasn't fair. Annie smiled, genuine, warm, the Iowa girl who charmed pageant judges and Vought executives. Let me make it up to you. Coffee? My treat? Ashley's paranoia warred with her desperate need for human connection. Connection 1. 5 minutes. I literally have 5 minutes before Edgar expects the Pittsburgh sit rep. They sat. Annie bought overpriced lattes from Vaught's branded cafe, because even coffee was a corporate asset here. I don't know how you do it, Annie said sympathetically. Managing the Seven, dealing with Edgar, keeping everything from exploding. Cocaine and therapy, Ashley said, only half joking. And meticulous organization. She patted her tablet. Everything's in here. Schedules, protocols, crisis plans. Lose this thing and I might as well jump off the roof. Sounds stressful. You have no idea. Right now, I'm coordinating the sanctuary activation, managing media response to your little truth bomb, and trying to keep Homelander from lasering someone on live TV all before lunch. Annie laughed sympathetically. Her hand drifted casually toward her coffee, knocked it over, perfectly accidentally. Hot liquid splashed across the table toward Ashley's lap. Ashley jumped up. Shit! Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Annie grabbed napkins, dabbing at the mess. Here, let me... In the chaos, Ashley's tablet sat on the table, unattended, unlocked, because she'd been mid-email when the coffee struck. Annie's phone was already out, camera active, capturing the screen. 3 seconds. That's all it took. The sanctuary activation code scrolled past, encrypted, complex, but visible. I'm such a klutz, Annie said, still dabbing. Let me buy you another... Forget it, I need to change. Ashley grabbed her tablet, now locked again, and rushed toward the bathroom. Annie sat down slowly, hand shaking, phone burning in her pocket. She'd just committed treason. Against Vought, against the Seven, against everything she'd been taught a hero should be. But maybe, just maybe, that was the point. She texted the unknown number. I have what you need, but if this goes wrong, if innocent people die, I'm coming for you. The response came immediately. If innocent people die, you won't have to. Annie stared at her phone, at her reflection in its dark screen. Costume perfect, makeup flawless, smile practiced. She looked like a hero. She felt like a traitor, and she wasn't sure which one was real anymore. The Pittsburgh Compound 5 facility was a concrete monument to corporate efficiency. 12 stories of laboratories, production lines, and security systems designed to survive everything from industrial espionage to nuclear war. Vought had spent $800 million making it impregnable. Ghost Rider walked through the front entrance like it was tissue paper. The security team opened fire. Rubber bullets first, company protocol, because dead civilians meant lawsuits. The rounds melted mid-flight. They switched to lethal ammunition. Same result. "Where is your guilt manufactured?" Ghost Rider asked, voice echoing through the lobby. "Show me where you create monsters." A guard, ex-Marine, 2 tours in Iraq, PTSD managed with pills and therapy, raised his rifle with shaking hands. "Sir, I'm authorized to use lethal force." Ghost Rider looked at him. Not the penitent stare, just looked. The guard saw himself, signing on to vote for the paycheck, knowing what they did here, choosing the mortgage over morality. Not damned, but not innocent either. He lowered his rifle. "3rd floor, production labs. Code 7734. "Thank you." Ghost Rider walked past him, chains rattling, hellfire footprints smoking on polished tile. Behind him, sprinkler systems activated uselessly, water evaporating before it touched the flames. On the 3rd floor, Dr. Rajesh Kapoor was destroying files. Not digitally, physically shredding paper documents that should have been digitized years ago, but weren't because some crimes needed to stay analog. He heard the screams from below, smelled the smoke, and worked faster. His hands shook as he fed page after page into the industrial shredder. Project Chimera. Compound V testing on unwilling subjects. Orphanages in Jakarta. Villages in Guatemala. Mortality rates exceeding 70%, all of it turning to confetti. The wall exploded inward. Ghost Rider stepped through, surveying the laboratory. Centrifuges, chemical baths, refrigeration units containing thousands of compound V doses, each one representing a child injected, a life destroyed or transformed, a soul sold to Vaught's quarterly earnings. "Dr. Kapoor," Ghost Rider said. Rajesh's bladder nearly failed. How do you know my name?" "I know all their names. Every scientist who chose ambition over ethics, every researcher who justified atrocity with someone else would do it. Every mind that weaponized suffering." The rider approached slowly. "You are all guilty." "I was following orders. Company policy. If I didn't do it, they'd fire me, hire someone else. The work would continue." "Yes, the work would continue. But you chose to be the hands that did it." Rajesh backed against the wall, surrounded by his life's work, facing judgment in flames. "I have a family. So did the children you experimented on." The penitent stare. Rajesh experienced every injection he'd administered. Every child screaming as Compound V rewrote their DNA. Every failure, bodies convulsing, liquefying, dying in agony while he recorded data with clinical detachment. Every success, watching kids develop powers and then disappear into Vaught's training programs, never seeing their families again. He collapsed, weeping, mind shattered by consequence. Ghost Rider turned to the facility itself, raised both hands. Hellfire erupted, not hot, not cold, just absolute. It consumed equipment, files, chemical storage, but it didn't spread randomly. It moved with intelligence, targeting only what deserved burning. The building's structure remained intact. The offices below, accountants, HR, janitors, were untouched. Only the guilty burned. The Compound V samples exploded in their refrigeration units, not from heat, but from the rider's judgment, rendering them inert, breaking molecular bonds, reducing Vaught's most valuable asset to worthless sludge. Alarms shrieked, emergency protocols activated. And in Vought Tower, Stan Edgar watched the security feeds with the expression of a man watching his stock portfolio crash. "How much?" he asked calmly. His assistant, a woman named Patricia, who'd worked for Edgar for 12 years and never once seen him lose composure, checked her tablet. Preliminary estimates: 900 million in equipment, 2.3 billion in raw compound V, another 600 million in research data. She paused. "Sir, this is catastrophic." "It's Tuesday." Edgar sipped his coffee. "Activate Sanctuary. I want the 7 on site in 10 minutes. Homelander's refusing to go. He says..." "I don't care what he says. Activate his termination clause." Patricia's face went pale. "Sir, that's murder. That's breach of contract. Section 47, subsection C. Willful refusal to perform duties constitutes grounds for immediate asset liquidation. Now activate Sanctuary and get me the board of directors on video conference. We're going to need emergency funding." Patricia left, hands shaking. Edgar watched the Pittsburgh facility burn and did math. Vought's stock would drop 18, maybe 20%. Shareholders would panic. Lawsuits would multiply. Insurance claims would take years. But Edgar had survived worse. Survived Stormfront's exposure. Survived Homelander's increasingly erratic behavior. Survived every scandal by turning crisis into opportunity. Ghost Rider was just another variable to optimize. In Pittsburgh, Ghost Rider stood amid the burning ruins of the production floor, chains retracting, flames dying to embers. His phone rang, the burner Butcher had given him. "Yeah," Johnny answered, human again, costume scorched. "Get out," Butcher's voice crackled. "Sanctuary's active. They're mobilizing the 7. You've got maybe 5 minutes before..." The ceiling exploded. Homelander descended like a wrathful god, cape billowing, eyes glowing, smile fixed and terrible. But Johnny noticed something. The smile didn't reach Homelander's eyes. And his hands, they trembled. "Hello, demon," Homelander said, voice artificially steady. "Ready for round 3? Behind him, A-Train blurred into position, blocking the exits. Maeve crashed through a window, armor dented, flask empty, eyes hard. Starlight dropped from above, landing with a burst of light, but she avoided Johnny's gaze. Black Noir was already here, had been here, silent as death itself. "The guilty return," Ghost Rider said, transforming, flesh burning away, skull igniting, chains manifesting. "Good. We have unfinished business." Big talk from a terrorist. Homelander floated higher. "But you're surrounded, outgunned, and this time..." His smile widened, brittle. "This time I'm ready for your little magic trick." He wore mirrored contact lenses, specially designed, built by Vought's optics team, designed to reflect the pennant's stare back at its source. Clever, expensive, useless. "You cannot reflect judgment, John," Ghost Rider said. "It comes from within. Try me, you Halloween reject." Ghost Rider moved. Not toward Homelander, toward Noir. The silent assassin barely had time to raise his sword before the rider's chain wrapped around his wrist, yanking him close. "Irving, you're still here. Still following orders. Still choosing money over redemption." Noir's new mask cracked as Ghost Rider gripped his face. The pennant's stare, again. Deeper this time. Noir experienced not just his victims, but his choices. Every moment he could have walked away, every order he could have refused, every line he'd crossed telling himself he had no choice. He'd always had a choice. Noir collapsed, whimpering, mask shattering completely, revealing a face wet with tears and 30 years of trauma. Noir! Homelander's heat vision lanced out, both eyes, maximum power. Ghost Rider raised one hand. The beams stopped, absorbed, feeding the hellfire. A train blurred forward, throwing a punch at supersonic speed. Ghost Rider's other hand shot out, grabbed him by the throat. A train's momentum carried them both through a wall into the adjacent laboratory, crashing through equipment worth millions. "You're fast, Kevin," Ghost Rider said, human voice mixing with the rider's resonance. "But you can't outrun your conscience." A train struggled, vibrating at frequencies that should have phased him through solid matter. "Let go. Look at me." "No, no." A train squeezed his eyes shut, like a child hiding from monsters. Ghost Rider squeezed tighter. "You killed Robin Ward. Hit and run." She was crossing the street, holding hands with her boyfriend, talking about their future. "You were high on Compound V, racing Shockwave, and you ran through her like she was vapor." "It was an accident. You left her in pieces on the pavement, went home, showered, and let Vought's lawyers make her disappear from the news cycle." A train's eyes opened, not by choice, but because guilt has gravity stronger than willpower. The penance stare. Huey's face. Robin's last moment. The sound of her body popping. The terror, the pain. The casual way A-Train had shrugged it off because dead civilians were just Tuesday. A-Train screamed, high, broken, and went limp. Ghost Rider dropped him. Maeve was there, sword drawn. The one gift from Queen Maeve merchandise that was actually real steel. She swung for Ghost Rider's neck. The blade stopped inches from his skull. Not blocked, just stopped. "Margaret," Ghost Rider said softly. "You don't want to do this." "You're damn right I don't." Maeve's voice was thick. "But Edgar's got a kill switch in my contract. I don't fight, I breach, I die. Then die free or live enslaved. Choose." Maeve's sword arm shook. "You make it sound so fucking simple." "It is simple, not easy, but simple." Homelander crashed into Ghost Rider from behind, full speed, both fists roaring with rage and fear and the desperate need to win. Because losing again meant confronting the truth that power wasn't enough. They smashed through 3 walls into the central production floor where Compound V had been manufactured for 20 years. Homelander pinned Ghost Rider to the ground, raining punches, each one strong enough to shatter mountains. The concrete cracked, the building shook. Ghost Rider caught his fists. "You're scared, John." "I'm not scared of anything." "You're terrified. Not of me, of what I showed you." Homelander's heat vision fired point blank, melting Ghost Rider's skull, except the skull reformed instantly, flames burning hotter. You felt what your victims felt, and you can't unmake that knowledge. Every time you close your eyes, you see their faces, hear their screams, feel their pain. "Shut up!" Homelander's voice cracked. "Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!" His heat vision intensified, burning, constant, pouring all his fear into pure destructive energy. Ghost Rider absorbed it, all of it, and when Homelander's eyes finally dimmed, exhausted, depleted, the rider still stood. "My turn." He grabbed Homelander's face. Not the penance stare, something worse. He let Homelander feel the weight of judgment. Every sin catalogued, weighed, measured. Every rape, every murder, every casual cruelty. The cumulative mass of guilt so heavy it crushed souls. Homelander felt it, all of it, at once. And something inside him broke. He pulled away, stumbling back, and for the second time in his life, Homelander felt something he'd never experienced before. Despair. The understanding that power couldn't erase guilt, that strength couldn't rewrite history, that no amount of heat vision could burn away the truth. He collapsed to his knees. Ghost Rider stood over him. You were a victim once, John. A child abused, isolated, weaponized. I see that. The Rider sees that. His voice softened. But you became what they made you, and you made others suffer. Victimhood is not absolution. Homelander looked up, tears cutting through his foundation. What do you want from me? Repentance. Real repentance. Not PR apologies, not scripted remorse. Actual change. I don't know how. Then learn. Or burn. The building shook. Reality rippled. Sanctuary was activating. Starlight's voice crackled over comms. It's starting! Everyone out! Now! The air turned silver. Probability folding. Quantum mechanics weaponized. Ghost Rider looked at Homelander. Broken, crying, powerless in every way that mattered. Choose, John, before the choice is made for you. Then reality bent, and Ghost Rider vanished, not killed, not destroyed, just removed from conventional space-time. Sanctuary had him. Homelander knelt in the ruins, surrounded by his unconscious team, covered in ash and tears. And for the first time in 42 years, he understood what the humans felt. Helplessness. Sanctuary wasn't a place. It was an absence. A pocket dimension where physics bent sideways, where time moved like molasses and light forgot how to behave. The walls were probability. The floor was quantum uncertainty. And Ghost Rider stood at the center, the chains rattling uselessly against nothing. For the first time since bonding with Zarathos, Johnny Blaze felt truly trapped. The Rider raged, hellfire erupting in waves, but the flames had nothing to burn. They existed without consuming, fury without target, judgment without guilty flesh to punish. Where? The Rider howled. Where are they? Nowhere, Johnny said, human form flickering in and out of existence. We're nowhere, outside space, outside reality. Unacceptable. Yeah, well, get in line with the complaints. A voice echoed through the void, Stan Edgar's voice, transmitted through speakers that existed in 4 dimensions simultaneously. Ghost Rider, or should I say, Johnny Blaze, former stunt motorcyclist, current host to a biblical entity of vengeance. We've been doing our research. Johnny spun, searching for the source. Found nothing but silver probability cascading like waterfalls. Where are you, Edgar? Safe? Which is more than I can say for you. Edgar's tone remained perfectly calm, like discussing quarterly earnings. Sanctuary is designed to contain reality-warping threats indefinitely. You're functionally immortal, so we can't kill you, but we can remove you from the equation. Forever. The Rider surged against Johnny's control, trying to burn through dimensions themselves. Let me out. Won't work, Edgar continued, as if hearing the Rider's thoughts. You're isolated from all matter, all energy, all possible points of interaction with baseline reality. You could burn for 1,000 years and never touch anything that exists. Johnny forced the Rider down, thinking, you can't keep this up forever. Sanctuary requires power, massive amounts. I saw the specs when I raided your facility. Correct, which is why we're not planning to keep you here forever. Just long enough. Long enough for what? For the world to forget you. For your martyrdom to fade. For Vought to rebuild, rebrand, and return to profitability. 3 months should suffice. Johnny laughed. Bitter, sharp. 3 months? Your Supes will kill hundreds of people in 3 months. Perhaps. But without you to document it, without you to judge them publicly, those deaths become manageable. Statistics instead of spectacle. The price of doing business. You're a monster. I'm a businessman, and business requires stability. You represent chaos. Unpredictable, uncontrollable, unmarketable chaos. Vought can survive many things, Mr. Blaze. We cannot survive you. The connection cut. Johnny stood alone in the silver void, the rider thrashing inside him like a caged animal. We must escape. Working on it. How? There is nothing here. That's the point. Johnny sat down. Or tried to. The concept of down was negotiable here. They put us somewhere with nothing to judge. No guilty souls. No sins to punish. Then we are trapped. Maybe. Or maybe. Johnny's mind raced, remembering what Edgar said. Maybe we're thinking about this wrong. Outside Sanctuary, in Pittsburgh's ruins, Homelander stood slowly, wiping tears, foundation smeared into tragic comedy. The 7 lay scattered around him, A-Train catatonic, Black Noir broken, Maeve sitting against a wall drinking from a flask she'd hidden in her armor, face expressionless. Starlight approached Homelander cautiously. Is he gone? Yes. Homelander's voice was hollow. Edgar trapped him in Sanctuary, some kind of dimensional prison. For how long? Forever, probably. Homelander turned to look at her, and Annie saw something new in his eyes. Not rage, not arrogance. Exhaustion. That thing, that demon, it made me feel every person I've killed, every scream, every moment of pain I've caused. Annie said nothing. And the worst part, Homelander laughed. Broken, bitter. I still don't feel guilty. I know I should. I can intellectually understand that murder is wrong, that rape is evil, that I've done terrible things, but I don't feel it. Not really. The penance stare showed me their pain, and part of me, his voice dropped to a whisper, part of me still doesn't care. Then you're a sociopath. I'm a product, Raku, Homelander snapped. Vought made me this way, raised me in a lab, ran tests, taught me I was superior, that normal people didn't matter. And you believed them. You had a choice. Did I? Homelander grabbed her shoulders, not violent, just desperate. Did I? When you're conditioned from birth, when every neural pathway is shaped by isolation and abuse, when you literally don't know what normal human connection feels like, where's the choice? Where's the fucking choice? Annie pulled away. I don't know, but Ghost Rider was right about one thing. Victimhood isn't absolution. Then what is? How do I fix this? How do I become... He gestured vaguely. Better? I don't think you can. Not really. Annie's voice was sad. You can maybe learn to fake it. Learn the scripts, say the right words, pretend to care. But actual empathy, actual remorse? I think Vought broke that part of you permanently. Homelander stared at her. Then he laughed. Genuine this time, but not happy. At least you're honest. Maeve stood, flask empty. This is touching and all, but Edgar's going to want a debrief. We should... The air screamed. Reality tore, not ripped, not broken. Negotiated. Probability folding, quantum mechanics bending under pressure that shouldn't exist, and Ghost Rider stepped through. Not from Sanctuary. Through. Sanctuary. Walking out of dimensional prison like it was an inconvenient door. Everyone froze. How? Starlight whispered. How is that possible? Ghost Rider's skull turned toward her. Because Sanctuary. contained the rider. But Johnny Blaze made a deal with me, willingly, knowingly, and deals with demons have loopholes. Inside Johnny's head, the rider laughed. You let me out. After all these years, you accepted me. Temporarily, Johnny muttered. And only because Edgar's an asshole. Semantics. Ghost Rider approached Homelander, who didn't run this time. Just stood there, broken and exhausted. You're a victim, John, and a monster. Both things are true. The Rider's voice carried something unexpected. Not mercy, but understanding. The Rider judges guilt, but you're right. You never had a chance to be anything else. So what now? Homelander asked. You kill me? No. Everyone, the 7, Vought's remaining security, the news helicopters circling overhead, waited. Killing you solves nothing. Vought replaces you with someone worse. The system continues. Ghost Rider looked up, directly at the nearest news camera. So instead, I offer you a choice. Public confession, every crime, every cover-up, everything Vought made you do and everything you chose to do, on camera. Right now. That's suicide. A-Train croaked from the ground. Conscious, but barely. Vought will kill him. Edgar will activate his termination clause. Then he dies honest, or he lives as Vaught's puppet. His choice. Homelander looked at the camera, looked at Ghost Rider, looked at his hands, hands that had crushed skulls, burned children, shattered lives. If I confess, he said slowly, Vought collapses, stock crashes, lawsuits multiply, thousands of people lose their jobs. Compound V becomes illegal. Every soup Vought created, heroes and villains, gets hunted. Yes, that's not justice, that's chaos. Sometimes they're the same thing. Homelander stood silent for 30 seconds. The cameras captured every moment, broadcast live to 400 million viewers worldwide. Then he smiled. The old smile, perfect, practiced, empty. No, he said simply. Ghost Rider tilted his skull. No, I'm not confessing shit. Because you're right, it would cause chaos. Innocent people would suffer. Supes who've done nothing wrong would be persecuted. And for what? So I can feel better about myself. Homelander's smile widened. I'm a monster, fine, but I'm a functional monster. I killed dozens, confession kills thousands. That's the math. You're rationalizing, Starlight started. I'm calculating, Homelander interrupted. Edgar taught me that. Every action has consequences. Mine are smaller than the alternative. He looked at Ghost Rider. So no, I won't confess. I won't give you the satisfaction. I'll keep being Vaught's weapon. Keep smiling for cameras. Keep killing when Edgar tells me to. Because the devil I am is better than the chaos you'd create. Ghost Rider stared at him. The Rider wanted to judge, to burn, to punish. But Johnny Blaze, the human part, understood something. Homelander was right. Not morally right, not ethically right, but practically right. Confession wouldn't fix the system. It would just break everything without replacing it with something better. Then we have a different problem, Ghost Rider said. The ground shook. Not from the Rider's power, from something else. Stan Edgar's voice echoed through emergency speakers. Attention, all personnel. Sanctuary breach detected. Activating Protocol Omega. Evacuate immediately. Omega? Maeve looked confused. What the hell is Omega? Starlight's face went white. Oh God. It's a failsafe. If Sanctuary fails, Vought has a backup plan. The building's remaining walls exploded outward. Not from external force. From internal. shaped charges built into the structure's skeleton, designed to collapse everything inward, burying evidence and threats simultaneously. "He's going to bury us," A-Train screamed. Homelander grabbed Starlight and Maeve, shot upward through the collapsing ceiling. A train tried to vibrate through debris, but his broken leg failed. Concrete slab crashed down. Ghost Rider's chain whipped out, wrapped around A-Train, yanked him clear as the building pancaked into rubble and dust. The explosion was massive, calculated, professional. Vought's Pittsburgh facility ceased to exist in 47 seconds. When the dust cleared, Ghost Rider stood in the crater, holding A-Train by the chain. The speedster coughed blood, leg definitely shattered now. "You saved me," A-Train gasped. "You're guilty, not dead." Ghost Rider set him down carefully. "Learn the difference." Above them, Homelander hovered with Starlight and Maeve, watching the carnage. "Edgar just tried to kill us," Maeve said flatly. "His own team. He tried to kill the evidence," Homelander corrected. "We were just collateral." Starlight pulled out her phone, somehow intact. "The media's going insane. Vought's stock is in freefall. Edgar's going to spin this, but I don't think he can..." Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She answered on speaker. "Hello? Miss January." Billy Butcher's voice. "Enjoy the fireworks? Butcher, you're alive. Unkillable, love. Listen, you've got about 10 minutes before Edgar activates Plan B. He's already calling in favors with the Pentagon. Ghost Rider's about to be designated an enemy combatant. Military engagement authorized. Meaning drones, missiles, possibly a tactical nuke if they're feeling spicy. Edgar's going scorched earth. Literally." Johnny transformed back to human, chains vanishing. He pulled out his own phone. "Butcher, it's me. What's the play?" "The play is we end this. Tonight, Annie got me the sanctuary codes. Brilliant girl, that one. I've got something better. Vaught's black budget files. Every crime, every cover-up, every politician they own. It's all here." "Release it," Johnny said. "Can't. Not yet. Edgar owns too many platforms. We release it raw, it gets buried in misinformation within hours." Butcher paused. "But I know someone who can make it stick. Someone with the reach, the credibility, and the sheer spite to burn Vought to ash." "Who?" "Victoria Newman." Starlight's eyes widened. "The Congresswoman. She's pro-Supe regulation, but she's also Vought-funded. She's also a telekinetic who can explode heads," Butcher interrupted. "And more importantly, she's got presidential ambitions. Nothing kills a political career faster than being tied to Vought when Vought collapses. If we give her these files, let her take credit for exposing Vaught's crimes, she becomes the hero, and we become invisible." Johnny considered. "That's using her." "That's politics, thanks, mate. Everyone uses everyone. Question is, do you want revenge or results?" Johnny looked at the crater, at the millions in damage, at A-Train bleeding out slowly, at Homelander hovering above like a false god made of trauma and corporate branding. "Results," Johnny said. "Always results." "Brilliant. I'll set the meeting. Oh, and one more thing." Butcher's voice hardened. "Homelander refused your offer. Chose Vought over truth. That's not just cowardice. That's complicity." Johnny looked up at Homelander. Their eyes met, and Johnny realized something. The penitent stare had showed Homelander his sins, had made him feel them, but it hadn't made him care. Some people were too broken to save. "I know," Johnny said quietly. "Good, because what happens next, he doesn't get to walk away from." The line went dead. Above them, military helicopters appeared on the horizon, not news crews, actual armed forces. Ghost Rider looked at them, then at the seven. "This isn't over," he said. "Not even close." Then he transformed, motorcycle manifesting beneath him, and rode toward the horizon, trailing hellfire and the promise of consequences still to come. Homelander watched him go, feeling something new settling into his bones. Not guilt, not remorse. Dread. Because Ghost Rider had offered mercy, and Homelander had refused it. And demons didn't offer mercy twice. Victoria Newman's office was in a Georgetown townhouse that cost $3 million and looked like it came from a Pottery Barn catalog. All exposed brick, minimalist furniture, and carefully curated books nobody actually read. She sat behind her desk, power suit immaculate, smile practiced, while Johnny Blaze and Billy Butcher stood for her like supplicants at a throne. "You have balls," Victoria said, fingers steepled. Walking into a federal building, wanted by every three-letter agency, with a British terrorist and a literal demon inside you. "The demon's negotiable," Johnny said. "The evidence isn't." Butcher dropped a hard drive on her desk. "Everything. 20 years of Vaught's crimes, witness statements, financial records, video evidence of Supes committing atrocities and Vought covering them up. Compound V trials on unwilling subjects, including American citizens, including children." Victoria picked up the drive like it might explode. "If this is real, it's real," Butcher interrupted. "And you're going to release it. Tonight. Press conference. Every network. You're going to position yourself as the hero who took down Vought." "And why would I do that?" "Vought funds my campaign. They own half of Congress." "They owned half of Congress," Johnny corrected. Past tense. "Right now, Vaught's stock is down 43%. Edgar's lost shareholder confidence. The seven are in shambles. Homelander's been humiliated on international television. Vought is vulnerable." He leaned forward. "And you're ambitious. You want the presidency. Can't get there with Vought baggage. But if you're the one who exposed them, you're not their puppet. You're their executioner." Victoria's eyes narrowed. "You've thought this through." "I've had time. Dimensional prison gives you perspective." She plugged the drive into her laptop, started scrolling through files. Her face remained neutral, but Johnny saw her pupil dilation, the micro-expressions of someone realizing they were holding a nuclear bomb. "This is..." She paused. "This is everything. Murders, blackmail, human experimentation. Jesus Christ. They tested Compound V on orphanages in Indonesia. And Guatemala. And the Bronx," Butcher added. "Vaught's been committing crimes against humanity for decades. You expose this, you're not just ending a corporation. You're becoming a legend." Victoria closed the laptop. "And what do you get out of this?" "Homelander dead," Butcher said simply. "Once Vought collapses, once the legal protections disappear, he's just another super. Fair game. You want me to help you commit murder. I want you to help me execute a mass murderer who's been protected by corporate lawyers for 20 years. Semantics." Victoria looked at Johnny. "And you, what's your angle?" "Justice," Johnny said. "Real justice. Not corporate settlements and NDAs. Actual consequences for the guilty. The rider judges them," Victoria said carefully. "The penance stare. I've seen the footage. You make them experience their victim's pain. Yes, that's torture. It's truth." Johnny's eyes flickered orange. "And truth is the only thing Vought can't spin." Victoria stood, walked to the window, looked out at DC's lights, monuments to power built on compromise and corruption. "If I do this," she said slowly, "Vought will come after me. Edgar has resources. Blackmail. Assassins." "Edgar's about to have handcuffs," Butcher said. "And you're about to have the FBI, DOJ, and every federal prosecutor who's wanted to crack Vought for years. You'll be untouchable. Unless I'm complicit. I've taken Vought money, campaign donations, super PAC funding, which you'll return. Publicly. Tearfully. You were deceived, you see. Manipulated by Vought's lies. You're a victim who found the courage to expose them." Butcher grinned. "It's the American dream, redemption through betrayal." Victoria laughed despite herself. "You're a cynical bastard. I'm a realistic bastard, and I'm offering you the presidency on a silver platter. Question is, you brave enough to take it?" Victoria returned to her desk, picked up the drive, held it like a grenade. "One condition," she said. "Ghost Rider doesn't touch me. Ever. I help you. I'm off limits for the penance stare." Johnny considered. The rider stirred, hungry, sensing guilt. "She's hidden something. I can feel it." "Deal," Johnny said, ignoring the rider's protests. "You expose Vought. You get immunity." Victoria extended her hand. "Then we have an accord." They shook. 6 hours later, every major network interrupted regular programming for breaking news. Victoria Newman stood at a podium, flanked by FBI directors and DOJ officials, face grave. "My fellow Americans," she began, "today I stand before you to confess a terrible truth. For years, I've been complicit. Unknowingly, but complicit nonetheless, in covering for Vought International's crimes." The speech was perfect, rehearsed but seemingly spontaneous, emotional but controlled. She detailed Vought's atrocities, the human experimentation, the cover-ups, the blackmail networks, displayed evidence on screens behind her, named names, and she positioned herself as the hero, the brave whistleblower, the insider who risked everything for truth. The markets opened in Asia 4 hours later. Vought's stock went into freefall, down 68% before trading was halted. Class action lawsuits filed within minutes. Federal prosecutors announced criminal investigations. In Vought Tower, Stan Edgar watched the press conference with the expression of a man whose house was burning and he'd forgotten to buy insurance. "Options," he said to the emergency board meeting, conducted via video conference because half the board was already fleeing jurisdiction. "We could file for bankruptcy protection," one board member started. "Bankruptcy won't protect us from criminal charges," another interrupted. "Edgar, you said this was manageable." "It was manageable until Ghost Rider became unkillable and Victoria Newman developed a conscience." Edgar's calm was cracking. "Just barely, just enough. We need to contain this. Discredit Newman. Claim the evidence is fabricated." "It's not fabricated," the CFO said quietly. "I've reviewed the files. It's all real. We're fucked." Silence. Then one board member, old money, generational wealth, face like old leather, spoke. "Edgar, you're fired, effective immediately. Security will escort you." The feed cut. Every screen in the conference room went black. Then Ghost Rider's flaming skull appeared on every monitor simultaneously. "Hello, Stan." The rider's voice echoed through Vought Tower's infrastructure. "We need to talk." Edgar's face went pale. "How did you... Security should be. Your security works for you. I work for judgment." The skull tilted. 27 floors below you is Vought's Crisis Management Center. The people who disappear witnesses, who fabricate evidence, who've spent decades burying truth. You can't touch them. They're protected by attorney-client privilege. Lawyers aren't immune to judgment, Stan. Neither are you. Edgar stood, grabbed his coat. I'm leaving, whatever you're planning. The office door opened. Ghost Rider stood there, physical presence manifesting, hellfire licking up the doorframe. No, the rider said. You're not. Edgar backed against the windows. 72 floors up, bulletproof glass, nowhere to run. I'm a businessman, Edgar said, voice steady despite the fear. I didn't kill anyone personally. I didn't assault anyone. I managed a corporation. That's not a crime. You ordered murders, authorized cover-ups, profited from atrocities. The fact that you outsourced the actual violence doesn't absolve you. Ghost Rider approached. You're guilty, Stan, and guilt demands payment. Then kill me. Get it over with. Death is too easy. You don't get to escape consequence through martyrdom. Ghost Rider grabbed Edgar by the throat, lifted him. You're going to experience every victim, every life Vought destroyed under your leadership, every family torn apart, every child who died screaming in your compound fee trials. Please. Edgar's composure finally shattered. Please, I have information, accounts, blackmail files. Names of everyone Vought owns, politicians, judges, military. I can give you everything. I don't negotiate with the guilty. The penance stare. Stan Edgar, calm, calculated, untouchable Stan Edgar, experienced 2 decades of corporate evil from the victim's perspective. Every disappeared witness, every murdered whistleblower, every child injected with compound fee against their will, screaming as their DNA rewrote itself, dying in agony while doctors recorded data. He experienced it all. Simultaneously, an eternity compressed into 30 seconds. When Ghost Rider released him, Edgar collapsed, mind shattered, drooling, making sounds that weren't quite human. Judgment rendered, Ghost Rider said. He turned to the window, looked out at New York. Millions of lights, millions of people, all living in the shadow of corporate evil disguised as heroism. The rider wanted more, wanted to judge them all. Every complicit employee, every silent witness, every person who'd chosen comfort over truth. Burn them all. No, Johnny said firmly, wrestling back control. Edgar's done. Vaught's collapsing. That's enough. It's never enough. It has to be. Otherwise, we're not justice. We're just another monster. The rider snarled, but relented. For now. Ghost Rider walked out of Edgar's office, down the corridor, past Vought employees who pressed themselves against walls in terror. None of them were innocent. Working for Vought meant complicity, but they weren't guilty enough for damnation. Just guilty enough to live with it. In the lobby, Ghost Rider found them waiting. The 7, or what remained of them, Homelander at center, Starlight to his left, Maeve to his right, Flask visible, A-Train in a wheelchair, leg in a cast, Black Noir absent, probably still catatonic in medical. We can't let you leave, Homelander said. His voice was steady, but his hands shook. Edgar's gone, Vaught's collapsing, but that doesn't mean we let a vigilante walk away. Vigilante? Ghost Rider laughed. You're going to lecture me about extrajudicial justice? You've killed hundreds, John, without trial, without mercy. I had authorization, government contracts. You had permission to commit atrocities. Permission isn't morality. Homelander's eyes glowed red. I'm trying to be better. You showed me, made me feel what I've done. I'm trying. Then prove it. Step aside. Can't do that. Then we fight. Again. And this time, the world's watching. Every camera, every phone. Ghost Rider gestured to the lobby's windows. News helicopters circling, crowds gathering outside. You attack me. You validate everything Victoria Newman said about Vought. You become the monster she described. Homelander hesitated, calculations flickering across his face. Starlight stepped forward. Let him go. Annie. Let him go, John. Her voice was steel. Vaught's finished. Edgar's catatonic. We're done being their weapons. It's over. It's not over, Homelander said desperately. We're still the Seven. We're still heroes. We were never heroes, Maeve said quietly, taking a long drink. We were products, and the company just went bankrupt. A train wheeled himself forward. She's right. Ghost Rider showed us what we are. We can't unsee it, can't unfeel it. Maybe, he paused, choosing words carefully. Maybe it's time we stop pretending. Homelander looked at his team, his products. All of them broken, all of them complicit, all of them realizing the lie had been exposed and pretending wouldn't resurrect it. He looked back at Ghost. Rider, if I let you walk, Homelander said, what happens to us? That depends on you. Repent, change. Use your power for actual good instead of corporate profit. Or don't. The Rider will be watching. Always watching. That's not freedom. That's surveillance. That's consequence. Learn to live with it. Ghost Rider walked toward the exit. The Seven parted before him. At the door, Starlight spoke. The files Victoria released. There's more, isn't there? Things even worse than what she showed. Ghost Rider paused. Yes. Will you release them? If you make me. He looked back at her. Prove you're trying. Prove you're actually heroes. Then maybe the world doesn't need to see everything. He walked out into the New York night. Behind him, Vought Tower stood. Lights flickering, security scrambling, lawyers already shredding documents, a corporate empire collapsing floor by floor. The crowd outside erupted, some cheering, some terrified, all filming as Ghost Rider mounted his motorcycle and rode off into the city, hellfire painting Broadway orange. In the tower, Homelander stood at the window, watching him disappear. What do we do now? Starlight asked. Homelander didn't answer, because for the first time in his life, he genuinely didn't know. The script was gone. The handlers were gone. The company that had defined his entire existence was collapsing. He was finally free, and freedom terrified him more than any demon ever could. 3 weeks later, Vought International filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The stock delisted. Shareholders lost $400 billion. Stan Edgar remained catatonic in a private psychiatric facility, kept alive by machines, brain still processing the Penance Stairs aftermath on infinite loop. Victoria Newman rode a wave of popularity into the presidential primary with a 23-point lead. And Billy Butcher sat in a diner in Queens, reading the Times, drinking shit coffee, and smiling. Johnny Blaze sat across from him, looking like he'd aged 10 years and 3 weeks. Human form, but the rider's presence was visible in his eyes, always watching, always hungry. You did it, Butcher said, folding the newspaper. Vaught's dead. Edgar's a vegetable. The Seven are scattered. Homelander's doing talk shows apologizing for his past mistakes, like he's a celebrity caught cheating, not a mass murderer. He's not facing charges, Johnny said quietly. None of them are. DOJ cut immunity deals. Testify against Vought's executives, walk free. Politics. Butcher lit a cigarette, ignored the no smoking sign. Newman needs them as witnesses, not defendants. Can't prosecute dead corporations without living testimony. So they get away with it. They get to live with it. Which, given what your flaming skull showed them, might be worse than prison. Butcher exhaled smoke. A-Train's in physical therapy. Can't run anymore. Legs permanently fucked. Black Noir's in the same facility as Edgar. Completely non-verbal, curled up. Won't take the mask off even though it's cracked. Deep's doing evangelical revival tours, crying about demons and redemption. Maeve quit publicly, donated her entire fortune to victims' funds, and moved to Iceland to drink herself to death in peace. And Starlight, Annie January, resigned from the Seven, started a foundation for soup accountability. She's actually trying. Probably won't succeed. The world needs heroes too badly to examine them too closely. But she's trying. Butcher paused. She asked about you. What did you tell her? That you're gone. Disappeared. Nobody knows where Ghost Rider went after Vought fell. Johnny nodded slowly. That was the story. The legend. Ghost Rider had appeared, judged the guilty, and vanished back to whatever hell spawned him. The truth was simpler. Johnny Blaze was tired. The Rider wanted more, always more, infinite judgment, burn the world until only ashes remained. But Johnny was just a man trying to keep a demon leashed. There's still work, Butcher said, pulling out a folder. Vought's gone, but the infrastructure remains. Other corporations copying their model. Samaritan Industries, Godolphin University, Teen Kicks franchises. The superhero industrial complex didn't die with Vought. It metastasized. Johnny took the folder, flipped through it. Names, faces, new guilty parties waiting for judgment. The Rider stirred, eager. More work. Good. We are not finished. I know, Johnny whispered. Butcher leaned forward. I'm rebuilding the team. Frenchie's in. Annie's agreed to consult. MM's coming back from Atlanta. Even got Kimiko interested. We're going after the next Vought before it becomes Vought. He paused. Could use a nuclear option. I'm not your weapon, Butcher. Never said you were. I'm saying you're good at what you do, judging corrupt bastards. And I'm good at what I do, finding corrupt bastards. Symbiotic relationship. Johnny closed the folder. The Rider's getting harder to control. Every time I transform, it wants to stay out longer, judge more people. Eventually, he stopped. Eventually, I won't be able to change back. Then make it count while you can. They sat in silence, listening to diner noise. Coffee percolating, conversations overlapping, the sound of normal life continuing despite everything. Homelander, Johnny said finally. He's going to kill again. Probably. He didn't repent, didn't change. He just learned better PR. Yep. So the penance stare failed. I showed him his sins and he didn't care. Butcher stubbed out his cigarette. You can lead a psychopath to self-awareness, but you can't make him give a shit. Some people are just broken, mate. Too many missing pieces. Too much damage. He paused. But you scared him. For the first time in his miserable life, Homelander knows fear. Knows something exists he can't punch, can't laser, can't threaten. That's worth something. Is it? If he kills someone tomorrow, was it worth it? Ask me after he kills someone tomorrow. Johnny stood, dropped cash on the table. I need to go. Where? Anywhere the guilty congregate, which statistically is everywhere. Butcher grinned. You're a pessimist. I like that in a demon. I'm a realist, and reality is ugly. Always has been. We just make it slightly less ugly. One dead corrupt bastard at a time. Butcher stood too, extended his hand. Call me when you need something blown up or researched. I'm surprisingly good at both. They shook. Johnny walked out into Queens. Gray afternoon, overcast, the sky threatening rain it wouldn't deliver. He walked 12 blocks before ducking into an alley, checking for cameras. Finding none, he transformed. Flesh burned, skull ignited. The rider emerged, eager, chains manifesting with sounds like souls screaming. "Where?" the rider asked. "Where do we go?" "Wherever they're hiding," Johnny said, mounting his motorcycle as it materialized beneath him. "Wherever the guilty think they're safe." The bike roared. Engine sounds like Hell's Gates opening, and Ghost Rider rode out of the alley into New York traffic. People screamed, phones raised, social media exploded within seconds. Ghost Rider, NYC trending before he'd gone 3 blocks. But Johnny didn't care anymore. Couldn't care. The work was infinite. The guilty were endless, and the rider would never stop. Not until every sin was judged, every crime punished, every lie burned away, until Johnny Blaze finally lost himself completely and became the monster he'd been trying to control for 15 years. 50-50 odds, really. He rode toward Manhattan, toward the next case Butcher had mentioned. A pharmaceutical company testing compound V derivatives on homeless populations, paying off cops to disappear complaints. The rider's flames burned brighter. In Vought Tower, now occupied by federal receivers cataloging evidence, Homelander stood in his old penthouse, surrounded by moving boxes, packing his life into cardboard. His phone rang. Private number. "Yes?" "Mr. Homelander." A woman's voice. Professional. Cold. "My name is Grace Mallory. I work for the CIA's Special Activities Division. We have a proposition for you." "I'm done with government work." "This isn't government work. This is insurance." Ghost Rider exposed Vaught's crimes, but there are other threats, international ones. And you, despite your many, many flaws, are still the most powerful meta-human in America. Homelander's reflection stared back from the window. Costume rumpled, eyes shadowed, looking every year of his actual age for once. What kind of threats? The kind that requires someone expendable, someone the public already hates, someone with nothing left to lose. Mallory's voice softened, just barely. "You want redemption, John. Real redemption. Stop playing hero for cameras. Start doing actual work, dirty work, the work real heroes won't do because it would cost them their souls." "I don't have a soul. The rider showed me that." "Then you're perfect for the job." Homelander closed his eyes, saw the faces from the penance stare. Every victim, every scream, every moment of pain he'd caused and felt nothing about. Maybe Mallory was right. Maybe redemption wasn't about feeling guilty. Maybe it was about doing better regardless. "One condition," Homelander said. "If Ghost Rider comes for me again, if I'm judged again, you don't interfere. That's between me and him." "Agreed." "Then send me the brief." The line went dead. Homelander looked out at New York. 8 million people, all living in the shadow of what the Seven had been, what Vought had built, what Ghost Rider had burned down. He couldn't fix it, couldn't undo it, couldn't unfeel the penance stare's revelations, but he could try. Actually try. Not for redemption, that was probably impossible, but because the alternative was admitting he was exactly what Ghost Rider said he was. A monster. Nothing more. And even Homelander, narcissistic, sociopathic, irredeemably damaged Homelander, wanted to be more than that, even if he'd never actually succeed. In a Georgetown office, Victoria Newman reviewed polling data with her campaign manager. Numbers climbing, momentum building, the presidency within reach. Her phone buzzed. Text message from an unknown number. The writer knows what you did in Red River. Choose carefully what comes next. Victoria's hand trembled. Just slightly. Just enough. She deleted the message, returned to her polling data, and smiled for the cameras. Because in America, even the guilty could win. As long as they smiled right, as long as they chose the correct lies, as long as Ghost Rider didn't cumber them next. And somewhere on I-95, riding south toward Virginia, trailing hellfire and judgment, Ghost Rider felt her fear like a beacon. Soon, the rider whispered. Soon we judge them all. Soon, Johnny agreed, because eventually even he would run out of reasons to show mercy. Eventually, the line between justice and vengeance would blur completely. Eventually, the rider would win, but not today. Today, there was still work. Still guilty parties to find. Still sins to burn away. The motorcycle accelerated, braking 90, 100, impossibly fast, leaving a trail of flame that fire departments couldn't extinguish because it wasn't burning fuel. It was burning truth. And truth, once ignited, consumed everything. Behind him, New York's skyline faded into distance. Vought Tower dark, the Seven scattered, an empire reduced to bankruptcy proceedings and criminal investigations. Ahead of him, America stretched infinite. 50 states full of corruption, corporate evil, and people who thought power meant immunity. They were all wrong, because Ghost Rider had entered their universe, had shown them what judgment looked like when it couldn't be bought, couldn't be threatened, couldn't be stopped by lawyers or PR teams or superhuman strength. Vought had fallen. Edgar had broken. The Seven had scattered. But the work, the eternal, terrible work of holding the powerful accountable, had only just begun, and Ghost Rider never stopped, never rested, never forgave. Because vengeance, unlike mercy, was infinite, and America had so much to answer for. The world didn't end when Vought fell. It just changed. The superhero industrial complex restructured, rebranded, found new corporate sponsors with better lawyers and smarter PR. Heroes still sold merchandise, still did endorsements, still committed crimes behind closed doors, but now they did it knowing Ghost Rider was watching. Always watching. A flaming skull in the darkness, judging sins that society chose to ignore. Johnny Blaze never found peace. The rider grew stronger each transformation, hungrier, more demanding. Eventually, maybe years, maybe decades, he would transform one final time and never change back. Would become the spirit of vengeance completely. Humanity burned away like flesh from bone. But until then, he rode, judged the guilty, burned away lies, made the powerful feel powerless, if only for 30 seconds of penance stare. It wasn't redemption, wasn't salvation, wasn't even justice, really. Just consequence delivered by a demon wearing a dead man's face. But in a world where billionaires played God and heroes sold energy drinks while children died in their wars, maybe consequence was enough. Maybe judgment was the only honest thing left. Homelander learned to live with fear. Started taking missions nobody else would. The Black Ops work, the morally gray assignments, the operations that required someone expendable. He never felt guilty, never truly repented. But he stopped pretending to be a hero and started acting like a weapon. It wasn't better, but it was honest. And honesty, in Vought's world, had always been the rarest superpower. The Seven disbanded officially 6 months later. Starlight's foundation grew. Maeve drank herself to death in Iceland. They found her frozen in a fjord with empty bottles scattered like breadcrumbs. A-Train became a motivational speaker, talking about redemption he didn't feel to audiences who needed to believe in it. Deep's evangelical tour collapsed after another scandal. Black Noir never recovered. Spent the rest of his life curled in a psychiatric facility, still wearing the cracked mask, still experiencing his victims' pain on infinite loop. Stan Edgar eventually died, technically from stroke, actually from never escaping the penance stare's judgment. His brain had been trapped experiencing his crimes forever, and eventually the neurons just gave up. Victoria Newman won the presidency 3 years later, served 2 terms, never released the remaining Vought files Ghost Rider had mentioned, never faced judgment for Red River, but she never stopped looking over her shoulder, never stopped checking shadows for flaming skulls, never stopped wondering when the rider would return to finish what he'd started. Billy Butcher kept hunting, kept building cases, kept finding new corrupt bastards who needed stopping. He and Ghost Rider crossed paths 17 more times over the next decade. Sometimes allies, sometimes adversaries, always bound by the understanding that some evils required evil to fight. And Ghost Rider, he rode, burned, judged, an eternal force of consequence in a world that had spent centuries avoiding it. Vought fell, but the system remained. New companies rose, new heroes were manufactured, new crimes were committed and covered up. But now, always now, there was something waiting in the darkness, something that couldn't be bought or threatened or killed. Something that saw through costumes and PR campaigns and billion-dollar legal teams to the sins beneath. The guilty learned to fear the roar of a motorcycle at midnight, learned to avoid dark roads and empty streets, learned that in the end, everyone pays, everyone faces judgment, everyone burns. That was the legacy of Ghost Rider's arrival in the boys' universe. Not salvation, not redemption, but simple, terrible accountability. The powerful learned they weren't immune. The corrupt learned they weren't protected. The guilty learned that some debts couldn't be settled with settlements. It didn't fix the world, but it made the world slightly more honest, slightly more careful, slightly more aware that justice, real justice, might arrive on a flaming motorcycle trailing hellfire and righteous fury. And sometimes, in a world as broken as this one, that was enough. The spirit of vengeance had entered their universe, and it would never leave, would burn forever in the darkness, watching, waiting, judging the guilty until either the world ran out of sinners or Johnny Blaze finally surrendered completely to the flames. The smart money was on the sinners lasting longer, but Ghost Rider had eternity, and eternity was patient, and judgment, true judgment, was inevitable. Always inevitable, always burning, always coming, for everyone. The multiverse never sleeps. More crossovers await.